better than following a trike track. Hang on. And nobody's been on it forever. Go that way. Big red. How awesome does that look? Nothing better than following a trike track.
Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. This is a trip we did where we went random camping on Crown land, and you folks in the US would know it as dispersed camping. But anyways, we stayed at a camp I had made several years ago, and I call it Camp Wiener Stick or just Wiener Stick because when I first camped there, I found this galvanized wiener stick up in the trees when I was kind of trimming them back, and there's no fire pit around or no remnants of anything else. I even metal detected the whole area. I couldn't even find a bottle cap. No shell casings, no nothing. So it's kind of odd just to see that that galvanized fence wire wiener stick there. But anyway, that's the name I gave it.
Can't even keep up to him, eh, Chevelle? He's too fast.
So that guy up ahead there is none other than Streaker Steve. I met Steve back in about 2005 on another camping and riding trip, and we'll get to that later of how I got to give him that nickname.
Classic. I think we couldn't even keep up to you there. You got so much suspension. Give her.
That's a nice little meadow in there.
And so it begins.
Weren't expecting that.
Put on a show. Oh, jeez. Nice. Come on. See what you got.
Okay, so back to how Streaker Steve got his name there. Here, let me crack a beer. So, yeah, it was back in about 2005 or 2006. I think I had just gotten Chevelle, actually, a couple days prior kind of thing. And he was out at our local sand dunes. That's a place we go camping and riding. And he was there with his girlfriend. And we had met them out on the beach, of course, on the trike. They were doubling on the trike, I think, that day. And so later on, we invited them back to camp and, come and have a drink or whatever. So anyway, so that night we partied like rock stars, and And that was that. And then the next day, we were all kind of sitting around the smoldering fire pit there, and there was, guys and girls sitting around the fire pit. No kids or nothing. And anyways, we kind of heard a dirt bike fired up. Steve had I think it was a 1999 KTM 250 two-stroke dirt bike. And he was actually a hell of a rider, that guy. He used to do some ice racing, and he won a few ice race championships, I think, or something. But anyway, he shows up, and we just kind of heard the bike at first, and it was just idling, and then all of a sudden, I look up, and here's Steve. He kind of comes right in the middle of our little ring around the fire there, and he's just idling along. He's totally naked, and he drives right through the center of our fire pit, and just kind of keeps on going, eh? And like I said, we barely knew the guy. It was just funny as heck, and so I gave him the name Streaker Steve.
Chevelle used to run all this way, eh, girl? You used to do all the running up this hill. It was a big one, eh?
Yeah, so the last time Chevelle was up on this trail, it was probably when she was about 8 years old. She had ran all the way from my truck, which was actually way across the road, up this entire cut line right to the top of the hill, and it's like a heck of a climb.
Never seen it this good, this trail. Guys are finally using it. That's good.
Yeah, so this is an area known as Skidoo Valley, and it's kind of a snow belt through here, and it gets tons of snow, and there'll be no snow in town, but there'll be lots of snow out at this place, and it's only like 15 minutes from town. But anyway, I've cleared these trails out for over 20 years, and I've come here, and there's like 30 to 40 trees, one after the other, completely blocking the trail, like that blew over. So yeah, it's good. It seemed like people are finally using the trail now, and it's still pretty rugged, but it's passable, This is a trail that I always go and test my vintage snowmobiles on, and pretty much every old sled that I've ever had has been on this trail, and it's just like a winter wonderland because it just gets so much snow here, and it's not too wide, so you don't have much chance of making up some of the hills. You can't just swing around, pick your own line. You have to just stick to the center, because it's so narrow. Very rare to have Chevelle be riding on the quad with me. This would be pretty much the first time, like getting to be the first time she would ride all the way. Like she used to always run these, and she did that right up until she was about 12 years old. So she was in incredible shape, that dog. But she had a bad back leg, and if it wasn't for that leg, I guarantee you she would have been still running here. And she was getting up there in age, probably 12 years old there. The summer before I got Chevelle, I took a Jeep up this trail. I was by myself, and it was about 1:30 or 2 in the morning, and I was coming back from a friend's camp, and I decided to take a little shortcut, and I took this whole trail. Probably the last Jeep to be on this trail.
Good hills here, eh? Hey, Chevelle? Hang on. Hang on, girl. You gotta hang on. Pretty steep hill coming up here. After this steep hill. Hopefully Steve makes her. That's a good climb.
I've been on so many old vintage sleds climbing that hill, and I remember this one moto ski single cylinder I had just barely would make it.
Good girl. Good girl. That's a big hill, eh?
I've got some old video of Steve and I and Chevelle on the trail, and believe me, that hill was nothing compared to some of the hills we've climbed on these old three-wheelers. You'll be seeing some of those videos. It's amazing where these little things will take you, and you know we're the whole way is a climb. You can tell by the sound of the engine. It's a climb. It's up and down and up, but mostly climbing. And this is the last trail you want to be on when there's a lightning strike. And I remember one time I used to have a tour company where I took uh, people out on ATV trips, and I had a group from Australia, and there was 4 or 5 of them, and we were on this trail right at the top, and lightning was hitting all around us, and they were wanting to get home pretty quick.
I cut all this years ago. Probably about 4 years ago, eh, Chevelle?
Can't stop to play, eh? Just can't help yourself.
Gotta, like a smoker that's gotta have a cigarette every time you stop. She's gotta play ball every time we stop. Well, holy hell!
Like
I didn't think.
every time you stop, you gotta have a beer.
There's the cut line in the distance. I didn't think Steve was gonna make that back hill, but he made it like nothing. Hang on, girl. Pretty good climb.
When we finally got to the top here, the old brute force was getting pretty warm, and that trike, it didn't even know it climbed a hill kind of thing. It was just running 100%. But that brute force I had, though, it had 13-to-1 compression pistons and race cams and everything else, so it was a pretty hot motor.
Hang on, girl. I got you. Hang on. We're almost at the top. Hang on. Whoa.
Poor old Chevelle. You have to understand, like, this is all new to us. Chevelle never rode back there. She always ran, so we only did this for that one summer, basically, where she rode lots, and this was just kind of a temporary thing, thankfully.
There's the cut line. She was a hell of a climb.
So yeah, we came from the bottom way down in there. Yeah, you can see it's quite a climb. Hard to believe Chevelle used to climb that whole way like it was nothing, and then we get to the top here by the picnic table, and all she'd want to do is play ball, and then she'd run down on the other side and then up the other hill, and that would just go on all day.
Picnic table's just around the corner.
Okay, so now we're on a historic trail there. This is the old Bighorn Trail. It's one of the only places in Alberta where it's still intact. But the Dominion Forestry Service, I think it was called back then, in the early 1900s, they used to ride their horses along this trail from one cabin, and then the next cabin would be about a day's horse ride away. So this is on the very, very peak of the ridge, as high as you can go here.
Woohoo! That was a good climb. Honda did good.